Tushar, you spoke about the influence China has on the prices in the industry or can have, in terms of based on its capacity and so on. So I wanted to expand that, topic. So what are the major factors that influence price in this industry?
See, one major factor, global trade of steel is open. There is no restriction, subject to certain anti-dumping and safeguard duties in certain countries. Otherwise, it's open.
Right.
So basically, supply and demand.
Mhm.
And second thing is if the prices go up or go down because of supply and demand, or if there is a constraint in supply of raw material to steel industries, or disruption in supply chain in the sense shipping arrangements. For example, now there's a lot of disruption, container shortage,
Yes.
worldwide. So
Yeah.
that is disrupting the world trade, and steel is partially affected because the raw material import of scrap into various countries, they use containers.
Right.
So since scrap is not available, secondary steel users are not having their raw material. Only blast furnace producers having mines as their captive mines, they are only producing. So there is a disruption in supply chain and thereby disruption in supply of steel. So prices have gone up to the highest level in last 2 years during September onwards.
So volatility in steel prices is caused, along the supply chain from ores, onwards. Whenever there is a possibility of, any of the disruption in supply chain, it can be logistics problem, it can be raw material shortages and so on, or spike in demand, like China comes out and buys a lot of ores and so on and so forth.
Or semi-product they bought recently.
Semi-products, or on the other hand, China, or for that matter, any country pumps in more goods into the market, right? And how would you manage those risks? Given that there is, to the best of my understanding, there's no commodity exchange where you can hedge and things like that.
There is a spike in demand, supply-demand imbalance. You cannot do that. To a large extent, depends on what is the stock available in the system.
Right.
If the stocks are very high, then for 2-3 months, 6 months, they can manage that, not importing at higher prices. Or if the stocks have gone very low, but then they are forced to import, they have to pay higher prices. Or if the China or any other country dumping at a very low price, then you have to adjust your prices even though your cost of production is high. So you cannot do that because it's a free trade environment.
Right. But hasn't people looked at okay, this has enough elements of commodity market, and there could be certain things where we could, if you could have aluminum could be traded on the exchange, metal exchange. Why are we not bringing that to the
London Metal Exchange has trading of semi-billets.
But beyond that,
but
I understand
it's not have much influence in the world trade.
It doesn't have. That's where I was going.
It
doesn't have so much on that.
See, like in US, because of this 232 restriction on imports and the 25% duty, there is a tremendous shortage of raw material for the automobile production. If you have read this recently, that the production has come down because they don't have steel.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that affects.
Right. So those would be the kind of factors also which cause. Are there other factors that are causing uncertainty in your business?
Other factor maybe natural disaster sometimes affects the supply chain, like closure of mines in Australia, flooding, or Brazil, iron ore. Those who producers dependent on iron ore and coal imports, so they'll have problems. Or like COVID pandemic, but which is a rare occasion.
And at least for now, you feel that there is no major threat of substitution. There are small elements that you spoke about. There's not a major uncertainty for steel business, right? There is no overhang.
20 years, you see every year world steel production is going up by 3 to 5%.
So every year. So not in this time.
Not in the near
future. Right. So what are the environmental issues? You touched upon a little bit, and then if steel production is going up and demand is going up, and many countries are economically coming up, which will definitely, if their per capita GDP is going up, usually you'll find that the more construction happening, more consumption of two-wheelers, four-wheelers, white goods. So everything means, positive for steel. So which brings us to the topic that you alluded to earlier. What are the environmental issues that the steel industry is facing? How are they dealing with them? How is, Europe dealing with it? How is China dealing with it? How is India dealing with it, and other parts of the world?
No, as per the UN sustainability goal, the pollution level of manufacturing, be it any industry, including steel, they have to achieve certain standards, and every country is working towards that.
Okay.
So as I mentioned earlier, by 2050, zero carbon footprint from steel production. They are developing technologies which will allow them to produce that. Second is that use scrap as a recycling material, which is environmentally friendly, and create a circular economy.
Right, circular economy. That's okay.
So that is what everybody is working towards that, and hope they will achieve. It depends on how seriously each country is doing. Right now, Europe is in the forefront. USA is expected to follow now that the administration has changed and they are giving importance to environment.
So India, you mentioned that Europe and US are like what, around the 60% mark in terms of recycling steel?
Yes, they are using 60% scrap they're still making, which is recyclable.
What about other countries like China? Where are we?
China has been at a 10%. India is around 30%.
Oh, we recycle 30%.
30% in our steel making. Yeah.
Okay.
But the technology used for recycling, both in China and Asia, has been of very primitive technology. They are now changing. They're investing in new production lines for making EF, modern technology, less polluting, less energy consumption. So that process is on.
Okay. So that leads us to the question, like, your outlook over the next 5 years or longer. Do you foresee, with China kind of expanding capacity, India targeting a double capacity and so on, will there be a oversupply? What do you foresee in the steel business for the world? And other aspects about the steel business over the next 5 years?
As long as the consumption growth is in the range of 4%, 3.5%, 4%, 5% globally, in a normal year where there is no pandemic or no other major disruption, steel steel usage will continue to grow, and capacity will continue to be getting added, but the capacity addition will mostly be outside Europe and USA. Mostly in third world countries like Asia, and Southeast Asia will be in the forefront of capacity addition. India will also be adding capacity. China capacity addition may not be that much. It is slowing down right now because they have enough capacity. See, they have a capacity of over 1.4 billion ton. Their capacity utilization is in the range of 75 to 80%. So they produce 1050 million tons last year, roughly. So a steel industry should produce at least at 80% capacity utilization to remain competitive and viable. So if you take that, then there is enough capacity in China right now. And
so is that moving? Is that moving out because there is, excess capacity in China? And then you talked about Southeast Asia being a place where, there is need for more capacity. So is that moving out of China into...
Yes, there are a lot of producers, especially the private sector producer in China, are moving out to Southeast Asia, setting up new units. They have announced a lot of new units in Vietnam and Malaysia right now, and Indonesia.
Okay. Right. And are they closing their Chinese factories and then opening it here?
Not
or
yet.
How is
not
that?
yet.
Not yet.
No, these are new capacities here.
Okay. And you foresee that this will be a positive trend?
One thing happened 2 years back when China announced a policy to to close all induction furnaces,
Okay.
which
Tell
is
us
a
more.
primitive method of producing low quality steel, but in
Right.
volumes.
Mm.
They have closed down all their induction furnaces and replaced it with EAF furnaces,
Mm.
electric arc furnace,
Arc
which is
furnace.
more efficient.
Mhm.
Those units shifted to Southeast Asia, almost 50% of those induction furnace, which is bad.
Yeah. What you're saying is they brought the old technology into
Old
Southeast Asia.
technology into Southeast Asia, but the
That's
government, I
bad.
am surprised how the government in Southeast Asia allowed those things to happen. But
Oh, okay.
that is what happened.
So which countries were these? Malaysia, Thailand, where?
Thailand and Malaysia.
They allowed the old technology to come in. Okay. Okay. Cool. So what was, we got a good overview. So what is one thing that you believed was true when you joined this steel business many years ago, or you could probably look at it when you went into marketing and so on, of steel, that you believe something was true about the steel business, but over the years you have learned that it is not so. So is there something that jumps out for you? I mean, you spent
That's
so
a
much
very
time.
interesting question. When I was
Thank
looking
you.
for a job, whatever came my way, I took it. I did not know anything about steel industry.
No. After that is why I anticipated this escape route. I already closed that route. I said after you went into the marketing department and in the early days you saw something about steel marketing, but then you have seen many decades of, and you have been at the top of the game, in India, in the world, and so on. So what belief have you seen change from that time?
No, it has changed a lot. Earlier, as
Yeah.
I said, it was a controlled industry, controlled by government. I joined in 79 till 1991. It was controlled. Not
Was there
many.
something that you believed then that the
No.
industry will be like this, and then it is like, wow, what has happened now?
Yeah, I would not have foreseen such growth in steel production and private sector taking a
Right.
principal role. I would not have
Interesting.
foreseen that during that time.
Right.
But it has changed, sea changing, you can say. Yes.
Right. And what else do you see for the future of the anything that we have not talked about that we should know? That
No,
you say,
steel
hey.
is a growing industry in India. It has a very bright future. Those who are associated with steel trade have made good money. They are rich
Okay.
people. There are no poor people associated with steel business in India.
Okay.
Let me tell you, because it is quite profitable over a long period of time. So I see a very bright future for steel industry in India for next 10, 20 years at least.
Wonderful.
Maybe a time will come like what is happening in Europe or USA, where steel is not looked at, steel industry is not favorable,
Right.
is a favorite of the governments. But that's not the case in India right now, because
Right.
India's per capita consumption of steel is still one of the lowest in the world, about 70 kg per capita. World average is around 215 or 20. And
Okay.
China's per capita is 550, and Korea's per capita consumption of steel is 1470 kg. So there is a long way to go.
Long way for.
And of course, you have to modernize, produce more special steels for special applications, and create new applications, like I said, steel intensive structures in building and infrastructure, and more advanced steel for automobile sector, space, and defense sector. Now defense sector production is taking root,
Coming
for
up.
which the entire production is the entire requirement of steel is alloy steel. No mild steel is used in defense production.
Right.
So the steel, it is incumbent on our steel companies to produce those kind of items. Otherwise, you will still continue to import, which is not desirable.
So there is a scope for
Yes.
higher grade steel and innovation and
and more students with skill from engineering and MBA colleges should join, because it provides them a good future growth potential, because this industry is going to grow.
That's an interesting thought, right? People, what you're saying is that, hey, look at it as a modern industry. Don't look at it as a smokestack industry.
Yes. It's a modern, it is modernizing all the time. New technologies are coming, new applications are coming, new opportunities in Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India has opened up in India. So steel is going to grow and it pays well. Those who are at the top or middle level, it play. In fact, let me tell you, the sale pay scale last 5 years is been highest in steel industry at the lowest level. If you join at the entrance level, you get more pay than if you join a private sector. But as you grow, maybe it gets equalized and private sector top people get much more, 10 times more. But at the entrance level, it pays more.
Okay.
So
they made it competitive.
Yeah, they have made it very attractive. Yeah. But somehow it has not been a favorite of the top rated management schools and engineering colleges in India like IITs and IIMs. But it has a good growth potential.
Okay. So they should make you the brand ambassador for recruitment for steel industry or sale and so on and so forth. Thanks, Tushar. You can do that job excellent. You have an inspirational career for youngsters to look up to and convince them that like this is the industry to do that.
I was in double mind when I did my course in IFT whether to stick to sale or go out. You remember, I was also
yes, I know we used to talk about that. Yeah,
but ultimately I decided to stick around.
Yeah, wonderful. So, and it's been like what we just learned. It's been a rewarding career, fulfilling and rewarding.
I was at the top of my marketing setup, and it's a huge company, the biggest steel maker in India by far so far, last 35 years. And it gave me a lot of exposures. Foreign exposures and dealing with foreign clients, going abroad, meeting people. It has given me lot of opportunities.
Wonderful. So we will with that positive note, I think we could bring this discussion to an end. We could continue maybe, I think, but better would be to bring you back on another theme another time. Wonderful talking to you. We learned a lot both about the steel as a product, as an application, as a modern industry, and why we should pay attention to it, especially with India, East Asia, Southeast Asia, and these markets growing. Lot of scope. It's wonderful. Thank you very much for enlightening us all, Tushar. I'm grateful to you.
Thank you, Venkat, giving me this opportunity to speak, and I hope it has been useful.
Absolutely.
I look forward.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Thank you for joining us in yet another episode of Move Conversations. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Please subscribe to the Move Conversations YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get notifications of new episodes. Thank you very much. Till I see you in the next episode. Thank you very much. Have a great day.